band of epic heroes.
Alright, hey everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday. Forgot what day of the week it was. Let's just get right into it. So, yesterday we worked more on Lua and almost done with supporting coroutines and asynchronous requests. So I guess we'll just finish up. So let's see. What were we doing? Okay, so this part we need to get a Lua interface object out of the user data, which we can do pretty easily. User data as Lua interface async request. Hey Iceboy, good to see ya. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Okay, so what is it not liking? Okay, that was what I had to do. Alright, and then if Lua request is null, then there's been some problem, so yeah, that's a bit valid argument from Lua coroutine yield. Yeah, I guess that's all we really need to add. Otherwise, yeah, okay, so most weight is true, so I guess, well, I mean, if there's an error, this isn't going to be executed anymore anyway, so it's fine. So if it's dead... Oh, okay, so if it's dead we already break out of it. Then we also need to break out if must wait is true. Wait. Okay. But also, well, maybe we can just have these request readies insert the data into tracking, because they'll need to set up the state. How's the game going? Pretty good. I'm still working on Lua scripts right now. Guess I can pull it up to refresh everyone's memory. So right now, we're done with this. This was for testing yesterday. So we're trying to support basically when it requests a stat, the game will need to ask the server about this monster's stat, and then when we get here, the code will wait until the stat is ready, and that's what we're trying to support right now. Trial version for MV RPG Maker. It sounds like a good idea. You can try it out and see if you like it. Okay, so first request, specific request. So I guess what we would do is call request equals get corresponding request for the Lua request. And then we basically call this again. So I guess I should pull this out. What do I want to call this? Check. I guess I can just call it is request ready. Probably should put this in front and probably still pass the tracking, because if it's not ready then we'll need to set up information about that. So is request ready, tracking, alright, request, there we go. I'm gonna see if we can get it on sale one day though. I'm sure they'll put it on sale pretty soon. Everything on Steam goes on sale eventually. Request ready. Alright, so same thing here. Okay, so if it's filled, we do this, but if it's not ready, okay, I think I should rename these instead of is, it'll be check, because I want that if a request is not ready, it should store that information so that we can actually see if it's ready at a later date. Maybe I should code that function now. Do I have it? Okay, no, I don't have a update function yet. Okay, so this function will be called every frame. And so basically we need to loop through every tracking. Okay, so if, I guess we'll do it for each. And we'll have the ID equals pair key and async tracking is the value. So we need some way to tell if this specific script is waiting for something. Yeah, I guess we could just put an index to the request in the list. So where do I create a new one here, so I need to set this waiting for request to -1. Hi D-Dayan, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing? So if tracking waiting for request is greater than 0, then we would call, I guess we could do it this way, and is request filled. Oh no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Equals tracking, request, tracking, waiting for request. And if is request filled, think you should get a game character hub if I get RPG Maker. I'm thinking of getting it. I'm not sure what that is. Is that like a special package with extra character art? Yeah, that could be useful if you like the way they look. Okay, so if it is filled, then we need to pass the async response argument to this call script. And again, I think I'll just offload that here to another function that we can make later. Async response, make response. Not sure if I need to send the tracking object in it, but I guess we can always change that pretty easily. So dynamic value arg equals make response. Oh, that's not how we do it. I think it's user data create and then make response waiting for. And then I would call this function call script. Oops. ID tracking arg. Okay, I guess I should also set the tracking waiting for request back to -1. Oops. Alright. Check first request ready. Yeah, I think this is fine. Although one thing I don't do is I don't have this function yet. So yeah, if our request is ready, then we actually should probably remove it from the list. That's not that hard to do. So if request filled, let's do tracking, requests, remove. Yeah, because we're going to be... Oh, we already have a Lua response object stored in here. Alright, so I don't actually need this class then, huh? Or this function. Okay, so .lua response. You can make characters for RPG Maker and you can import it into your game. To me they look good and also you can edit. Okay, well then yeah, I think that might be a good idea. If you think you'll use it. Okay, yeah, this is the... I handle the stat request. But then I also need to insert this information into the tracking object. But I don't think we ever create a new instance of this yet, do I? No, we only get it. Okay. Yeah, so that's the missing links that I need to do. Can I please repeat that? Sorry, I had an ad. Oh, no problem. I just was saying that, yeah, I think if a character hub lets you create characters and you think that the art looks good and you think you'll use it, then yeah, I think it'd be a good investment to buy it. Okay, so yeah, so we'll always return this because this is what we return to Lua. But we also just need to create this request object. So let's call this the game request. Equals new. And then the game request dot Lua request. Oops. And then I need to make the Lua response object. How long have I been doing game development? Well, as a hobby for probably 8 years, I think. Alright, and so now we need to make the Lua response object. And I'm not sure. Okay, so I just need the type and then the statistic object. And then this is this, excuse me, does the statistic have the owner? Yeah, it does, okay. So unfortunately I don't store this anywhere yet. So I gotta figure out how I'll do that. Alright, well for now, yeah, I want to finish this code while I'm thinking about it. So type. Oh, I don't have a setter object here. So I want to hide this from Lua so that you could just add this Moonsharp hidden attribute to the beginning as I've done before. Type equals value, that way only this set can only be called from C#. Okay, so now it should let me do this, and I can say stat. And then the statistic will just be null for now. I need to add this soon. And then active tracks dot. What did I call the variable that has the running ID, handling script ID? It's fine me to get back into game development. Oh good, I'm glad I can. Yeah, it's really fun for me, so I enjoy it. It's always fun to see your ideas come to life. Press add. Alright, so now we just add the request object here. I think we're all good. Okay, so this part is just checking to see if this code is ready. Oh, hi Ilya, good to see you, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing tonight? So I think this is fine. And then get corresponding request is easy. We just need to loop through. We really need to pass tracking here, I think. Int I equals 0, I less than tracking requests, count. And then all we have to do is loop through all these and find one that has the same asynchronous request. Let's do it this way actually. Request equals tracking request I. And then if the Lua request is the same as the one that's passed in the arguments, then we'll return that object. Otherwise, null. Then is request filled. So right now I kind of have this bool complete object field, but I don't think I'll actually use that. I'm so pro, well thank you. I'm sure it just takes a lot of practice, but anybody can learn to program, I think. Okay, and then here if it's not ready, okay, so I don't actually keep the index of the request, so I guess I'll just keep a reference. If this causes trouble, I can always change it, but it's right here we need to set the waiting for request to this specific one. And then here we can just check to make sure it's not null. And then I don't really even need to have a separate object. That's fine. I don't think this should cause any problems. If you have a passion, you can learn something. Yeah, I agree with you. Alright, so here again, if the request is ready, we remove it from the list. But if it's not ready, we set this as our current, I don't know, I guess focus request, and this is what we need to wait to be ready before we'll call the script again. In that case, we'd return false, which means... Okay, yeah, that's correct. This is a little confusing actually, but... Okay, so here... So one thing we do need is what specific type of request this is. Request type, which is just, we just need this to be able to see if it's ready or not. So I guess we'll have none, and then, I don't know, let's have monster stat, clock stat, and, well, I guess that's all of support for now. Yep, the game is in Unity 3D. And then we'll also, for stats, we'll need an index, and I guess also a different stat index. Which I guess we should fill right here. Okay, So game request stat. Oh, I guess type first. We don't actually know that at this point. But we do know, well, I guess I can do the stat index later. Is it easy to use, or do you think you need some experience? Well, I think, well, Unity is definitely a bit more difficult than RPG Maker. But it's also a lot more powerful and more flexible. But you need to, I think you can't really do anything in it without knowing some programming, so I mean, you could try it out, but I think RPG Maker is better to start with. Okay, so if monster is not null, then we have this. So I can add type, so monster, and index equals a little monster data index. And then down here I can do the same thing. Type equals block stat. Dayan, am I doing Lua in C#? That's correct. We, well, the game is mostly written in C#, but then we're going to support Lua for the modding scripts. And right now I'm basically writing all of the code in C# to for all the function calls here in Lua. And this is the block. Oops. That's funny. Yeah, I did this wrong. So no data index yet in the block. I need to go add that. Okay, and this should be hidden from Lua. So now Lua can't call this variable. Okay, now that is all fine. And then up here, I guess, we have the stat index equals database stat name map. Okay, so that's all good. And I just need to fill out these functions now. But first of all, here what we call is request filled. First we'll switch between the type of request. Oh, I don't know what I just... There we go. And so now we know we can call, well, I guess yeah, we will call it function, but return the value of monster stat known. Well, actually no, we can't because it needs a Lua interface monster. So maybe I'll change this to actually use indexes so we don't have to rewrite this function twice. So monster index and stat index. So I guess we will need the stat index a lot. Okay, let's try and be a little more efficient here, and instead of having to look up the hash twice, I can just call try get value, and it will return false if this stat does not exist in this hash or dictionary. Okay, so let's actually move this up just to make things a little clearer, and then I can call this monster stat known on the index and stat index. I'll do the same thing for block stat known. Okay, so if there's an error, then do I really want to add this request right here? Maybe this should go at the very end. So that way, if there's an error, we won't add the request onto this list. But I mean, if there's an error, then the whole game is going to cancel most likely, so... Don't know if I need to worry about exactly what happens here. Okay, so now I can just call request. I don't even know what this request stat is. Oh, okay, no, it's the... thanks for following, D-Dane, I appreciate it. That is the message to actually request a stat from the server. Let's rename this. Stat server request. Okay, so index and then a stat index. And then if it's block stat, we'll return block stat known. Oops. So accidentally pressed a weird key. Alright, and then if it's anything else, then we'll just return false because that should never happen. But C# will complain at us if we don't have something for the default value. Okay, so now I need to do these scripts. Tell us what the L and G in front of the variable name means. It's just it's a shorthand I use. So the L is all Lua objects, or objects that will pass to Lua, and then the G are for game data objects, so objects that we'll use here in C#. Because I frequently need to translate between those two different object types. So I've just started using G and L to differentiate between them. I hope that makes sense. Alright, so now we need to figure out these stat known variables. So let's see here. How do I want to handle this? Oops. That was wrong. Window to bring up. Safe set. Okay, so yeah, the data creator creates the stats. What is this? This is from the save file, okay. I'm just trying to see how I fill the stats in the database at this point, because I need to figure out how I'll store unknown values. This is... oh, this is the testing, okay. Do we even use this? I don't think this class is ever used anymore. Oh no, it's used, yeah, if we create a file without... or load a game without a save file, okay. So I guess this statistic could just have a field here that's unknown. Yeah, it's a struct, so that would be okay. Fields, private, bool, known. Equals true. Okay, so I guess I should have another static creator here. Statistic unknown. It's false, And float value, I guess, will just be 0. So back at the request handler, we can call or return database. Oh no, it's actually in the battle, not the database. So we've got to get another object up here. The difference is the database just holds information that we've loaded from the mods, whereas the battle class holds information about the current state of the game. We actually haven't loaded any of these objects yet, so probably should do that. Server request equals controller claim message. Game data. Oh, that's not how I do it. And same with the battle. Oops, put the parentheses in the wrong spot. Okay, so I think that's all good now. And then I need to create this hash, or dictionary. Alright, so now I have the battle object, so I can type battle monsters, monster index, stats. I guess I could just type stat index. Okay, I don't have an accessor for that yet. My voice is tired. Oh, well, I've just been. It's the end of the day for me. I probably could use a drink of water actually now that you bring it up. Alright, alright, so yeah, here's where it was. Okay, so now I have this, but one other thing I want to check is to make sure that the stat index is not greater than the array length. Because then we'd say that basically by default, if there's not a value in there, then we'll say it's unknown. So I think maybe we should just get the monster object. Oops. And then if monster dot stats count, or here's this way makes a little more sense. So stat index is less than that. And then we'll check to see if it's known or not. Otherwise it's out of bounds, so we'll just return false by default. Okay, so now I need to do the same thing except for blocks. Let's actually look. Okay, I have a list of stats just like the monster. I should go ahead and instantiate it, I think. One thing that's a little more complicated about this is that not every block on the board will have an actual block data class. So we need to check and see if there's one in the dictionary. And that's just because we'll have hundreds of blocks and most of them are going to be empty, and so they won't have any stats. So instead of having a data object for every block, we can save a lot of memory by just having a few. Okay, so let's close some of these close some of these files. So board block, and then we could do a try get value. So battle fields. Oh, it's called the board now. Block data try get value. Okay, this is the block index actually. Out block. Okay, so this returns true if this value was in the dictionary. So now I can kind of copy this code. Oh, I don't need to look up in the array twice. Otherwise we can return false because of course the stat is not known. Well, actually no, the stat is known if there's no block because it's just the default value, so I can return true. Or is that how I want to do it? And actually, now that I think about it, board statistics are always known. Yeah, so I didn't even need to support that. Be good if you check if monster is null or not. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Or at least, yeah, make sure that this index is not too big. So if monster index is less than battle monsters count. Actually, if it's greater, then we probably want to throw an error. I guess we can just throw an array out of bounds exception. Oh, that's the wrong one. Out. There we go. So, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, block stats are always known because that's created by the world generator, which every player knows, so yeah, that was kind of silly of me. But luckily we didn't spend too much time on it, so whatever. Okay, good, so I don't need this at all. I guess I do need this part. So yeah, if a script can always just look up a block stats right away, it's just monsters that they need to look up from the server. Okay, so I'm just making sure. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. Yeah, this part don't need. Alright, so that's fine. That simplifies things a lot. Okay, so I think, is that everything? Let me just look through. So this is called, I guess I'll just start from here. So the game calls the sort player function. Okay, so I do need to fill in a little bit. Alright, we need to give it a bunch of callbacks. Okay, so let's look. Why is it complaining? So I need to have a callback for pre-resume, post-resume, on complete, first arguments, and then also the function to call. So pre-resume is just nothing. I guess I could always just make this be null, and then the game will need to be smart enough. null on complete is Lua complete, I guess. Although it gives me a little more information about that, doesn't it? Oh yeah, it returns the return value. So dynamic value, last return. Did I forget something? Oh, it doesn't have this at the beginning, that's what it's complaining about. And then the first arguments. Equals. Yeah, here, Lua arguments. And then the function is this. What's it complaining about? Oh, I need to create a dynamic value from that, which I could just say user data create. Okay, so now this basically just turns this object into a variable that can easily be sent to Lua. Okay, so I don't need this active coroutine or the ID. I probably don't need this handler either because I can just... I guess I should check to make sure that there's not two calls active. So we want to assert that call active is false. And again, this will call an error if this is not true. Or throw an error is the correct phrase there. So we set it to true right there. Okay. And since we only have to call the async request handler once, I'll be good, and we can use our message claim system to try and keep everything decoupled. So this will be start async script. I guess I need to go ahead and get that claim. This controller, claim message. Alright, so that should be good. Sort player, call results. Okay, so this is what we call once we're done. It seems like I have some extra stuff up here that we don't need anymore, but yeah, so we don't need to have a call every frame here, because this was back before when this object would update the coroutine, which it does not do anymore. Oops. Okay, so this function is called when the sort player function is done. So I guess we need to see if... So it returns the sort order. But I kind of want to just see if this actually runs. So we'll worry about converting this order into something the game can use later. I guess I'll just print it out. Unity engine debug log Lua call complete. Last return value, and then we'll just send this. Oh, and then I also have to set this flag to false now because the call is now complete. Yeah, so we don't need the database or the battle anymore, I don't think. We might later, but I'll just clean it up. Oh, okay, we do need a database actually, but not the battle. Because we have to get the database so we can get the sort function. Excuse you, but to understand the code, could you show us the Lua script? Oh, sure. So, this is what I'm trying to support. Basically, Hey Storm, I'm doing good. How are you? You're here late, but glad you could make it. So here, basically, this is what the game passes, and it gives us a list of selections that each player made during the turn. And so we get the monster that the player selected, and then we want to request the monster's speed. And when they call this function, it actually calls a function in this class, which is down here, handle stat request. And so this part just creates the all the handling to let the game know that it's waiting for a stat request from the server. And then when it gets down to this part, this coroutine yield is kind of where the magic happens. Lua will actually pause right here and wait for C# to resume the script at some other point. And when coroutine yield is called, basically the Lua script stops right here. And so we get the return value, and from that we can see like what object we want to give back to it. Yeah, the magic. And so basically if it doesn't give us a return value, then we want to wait until the first request it made is ready. And that can take however long it takes for the server to get back to us about any stat that we asked about. But if Lua passes us an actual object, like if we did I don't know, something like this for example, then C# would give us back control once we knew the specific monster's speed stat. So I hope that makes sense. And then once that happens, we just look at the speed stat, and here we'll sort the players by which one has the highest speed and then return the order. So yeah, kind of like how Pokemon does it, where the player with the highest speed goes first. But it's a little more complicated here because no player knows everyone's speed, so that's why we have to wait to ask the server about it. Oh hey Tommy, thanks for stopping by. How are you doing tonight? Oh, no problem, D-Dane. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so this, yeah, is fine. So I guess everything is done. Does anything actually call this yet? Let's look in Lua and see if there's any errors. Okay, there's just a bunch of warnings. Okay, of course, I always forget to do this. And the Lua args. I need to add this selection. Whenever I'm trying to add something to a list, I always forget to actually add it. I just create the objects, and obviously that doesn't do anything. Battle state, that's normal. Action executors, we'll worry about that later. Okay, this is exactly what I need, I think. Oh yeah, because I think if we played now, the game would get to this part where it wants us to sort the players, but we haven't implemented that yet. So let's actually play the game and make sure it does do that. Oh no, there's some error. Let's look and see what that's about. So many warnings. I need to clean that up. Alright, so component of type server stat request is already registered. Oh, and it doesn't want me to... Thanks for the host, Storm. So let's see. I didn't know you could host people while you were watching, but I guess that makes sense. But anyway, here it says server start request is already registered, and I'm trying to use it untagged another object. Why did I create the tag, I wonder? Okay, first let's clean up all this. And where is it? Stat server requester. I guess because there's a couple objects, yeah, we have the message to request something and then to respond. Oh yeah, so we don't actually handle responses from the server, that's kind of an issue. Alright, so, I mean, it's an easy fix. Where was the sort players of the caller? Oh wait, it's actually in the async handler, isn't it? Right here. Stat server request. Okay, so here is the stat response. I really don't think this should be in this class. In fact, maybe it should be in the actual server requester, because really we would get a request from the server or a response from the server, and then we can set that value into the actual data object. So let's see. But I guess I'll worry about that later. We want to see if the Lua script runs. Okay, object not set. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these warnings for now. Okay, so the list does not exist yet. Or wait. Okay, so something does call this class. Where? Guess I can see the call stack. Sort player notify send on match page change. Oh, on the intro manager. I forgot we did that. We have this was just a test last night, so I need to delete it because that's not where it will be called. Oh no, you're bleeding. Did you cut yourself or something? Paper cut? I'm sorry, it's no fun. Alright, so now hopefully that error will be taken care of. Oh yeah, so now we can actually select a move. Requested feature. Okay, so we get all the way to the sort actions. Yeah, I am from Texas, Tommy. Had a lot of people make comments about that. Actually, I didn't know it was so exotic. Has his up and down storm. So, on action list sorted, I guess we'll need should I just have a callback here, or do I call this on results? Okay, yeah, so I guess I just have a message. I guess that works. It's a little, well no, it's not that messy. Oh, cool, you're from Germany? I've always wanted to go there. And yeah, Portugal sounds very fun too. Okay, so yeah, I guess this works fine. I was trying to decide if we wanted to just have a callback on this parameters class. Because I don't know if I really want to have a whole message just for this, but I think it will be okay because only one instance of the script should be running at once. So you always wanted to go to the US. Yeah, I think everybody wants to travel around across the Atlantic, no matter where they are. I want to live somewhere near California. Well, definitely nice weather. Okay, so what am I trying to do here? I guess I need to first turn action list sorted. Okay, so this is what we call when we're done. But I need to get a message claim on sort parameter call Lua. Call Lua equals controller claim message. Okay, so I can just actually no, I can't just. Oh no, I can because the other ones are results, so that's fine. Yes, relatives in California. You visit them, but they haven't invited you. Oh, hopefully someday you can meet up. Okay, so right now, yeah, I'm going to need to change quite a bit about this class, but I think I'll wait until the first update tick to call this instead of doing it on the phase change. So I should really have an inside state here. Inactive, first tick, waiting. That should be fine, and I don't really need to have anything fancy, like we don't need a state machine or anything. State. Okay, so here we call state equals first tick. And if it's first tick, then we need to call Lua send. Okay, what parameters would we give it? I guess I have this unordered, which I commented out. I guess it's not the right type. Let's look where is that deposited? Should be receive server selections, I think. So that just gets all selections from the server, but it's got to put them in a list somewhere. Error checker? Is that what does it? Yeah, okay. Should be unordered selections now though. Just so I don't confuse myself further. So all player turn selections. Oh, all the colors are messed up. Okay, so this was right, but instead of an action list, it should be a turn selection list. this should be turn, or let's call it, oh, I guess I should rename it instead of creating a new one. Rename turn, say ordered turn selections. Alright. Opening Maya to try and fix the sword lighting if you remember how to do what you said. Yeah. Oh, actually, if you're using Maya, then yeah, I have no idea. You just need to find out how to reverse the normals. You can probably just select, like Storm was having a problem where he's trying to make a model and some of the mesh was black. And I think that's because the normals are pointing inwards, so they're not being lit. So you need to try and reverse them by maybe selecting the normals, and then you just need to find the hotkey for it. Probably if you search on Google it should come up. So list equals unordered value. And then nothing really happens here. But at some point we're going to need to call this private void Lua complete. And this will be sort call, what did I call this? Return? No. Sort player, oh, result. First I need to call or set the value in ordered. This results dot sorted. And then we turn off the auto or the ticking every frame, and then we call the unsorted message so the game knows that we're done. So actually, I think I can turn off the update right here. So state equals waiting, and then if state is waiting. And active, okay. And then also if for some reason we exit the ordering phase early, probably due to an error, then we want to set inactive right there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and look in here because we'll get another error if different objects have mismatched types or different variables. So I just need to change this from an action list to a turn selection list. Actually, yeah, this class doesn't need it at all, to be honest, but we'll get to here. Okay, one other thing I need to do in the sorter, I need to subscribe to the basically I need to subscribe to the onComplete so this function will ever be called. So what is the tag? I forget. Oh, I don't have the object open anymore. Sort players Lua caller. Oh, I did. I just missed it, of course. Okay, no, it doesn't have a tag. So I can just call or insert Lua complete here. And now when this class calls this on result, this function will be triggered. Okay. think I have everything hooked up. So let's go ahead and play and see how far it gets. So far so good. Okay, so yeah, right now it's on the ordering phase. Yeah, I want this open. Oh no, there's actually been an error. Oh, a timeout. I should probably disable that because it's going to mess up things. Yeah, so I have it so the server will time out if you take more than a specific amount of time to calculate the next turn and everything. That's just so that if someone's hacked their server, they can't waste your time. Or someone's hacked their client, they can't waste your time. But we need to disable that for now. So I'm just going to give it a huge value. Alright, so I accidentally had messages off, which made it hard to see debug logs. But actually I didn't log very much in the Lua async handler, so I probably should go back and fix that. Okay, so right now we're in the sort phase, but nothing is happening. Probably because it's waiting for a stat request to be filled. So let's both put, oops, I keep on typing that. Put debug prints here and then also in the C# code. So requesting stat, requesting speed for monster. I'm not sure if that'll throw an error, so I'll type toString. And then down here we'll say yielding. So that should be good for now. Did both the server and client side? Oh, thank you, Didayan. Yeah, I do have lots of client code. Most of it is done, thankfully. But we will have to go back and edit it in the future. Alright, so yeah, this async handler is what I need to add a bunch of debugging code in here. Alright, so let's see. Debug log. Oh. I'm just going to say using Unity Engine so I don't have to add that to the beginning of all these logs. String format. Creating new async enabled script. And I'll just pass the ID. I don't know how useful that will actually be. Okay, let's put something else here. Calling script. Oh, you saw the black issue? Okay. I'm glad, Storm. That was it the normals being wrong? I think I also want to have a timestamp here. So I can do time.frameCount. Okay, there we go. Oh, no problem, Storm. I'm glad I could help. Okay, so now I guess I should let's see. Resuming script, and then script yielded, and then we can print the return value. I'm not sure how good that will be. Let's just keep the logs simpler for now. Here would be script complete. Okay, so let's see what this gives us and make sure all of this is running well. I have a feeling I'm going to need to add some more. Oh, one other thing I should is right here. Script requested monster, or let's see, object to stat 3, and it should be handling script ID owner object and stat name. Routine is ambiguous between moon sharp. Oh, that's a bit of a pain, but nothing we can't fix. Is it happy now? Okay, so gotta finish compiling. Okay, interesting, I didn't get any logs. So what would that mean? Let's see here. So sort, entering sort phase. And then I guess I should add something here as well. Oh no, that's just assertion. So calling sort function. Okay, so let's see if this is good enough. Well, I mean, obviously we're still gonna have a problem because I didn't actually do anything, but I'm hoping that it'll at least now one of those logs will print out so we can know where it stopped. So entering sort phase and calling sort function, but nothing else happens. Oh, I bet this async request handler doesn't actually handle this script, this message maybe, or subscribe to it. Oops, I keep typing the slash by accident. So sub to message. New async script, and this should be private now. Okay, so maybe that was our issue. Okay, so we got a little more chatter here. Entering sort phase, calling sort function, creating a new async enabled script 0, calling resuming. Okay, then Lua requested speed for the gold monster, which is right here. Okay, attempt to call a nil value, so let's see. Exception and sort player's function, that's not what I wanted. value. Oh, this is a Lua exception. At line 21, I think. Okay, so request stat is nil. Maybe because... oh yeah, because I have a capital here. Do I want it to be lowercase or not? I think the convention in Lua is to start everything with a lowercase letter. Okay, so let's see if that was the issue. A lot of times in Moonsharp they'll let you call it either way, but I guess not if you set the global value directly like that. Okay, invalid stat owner must be a monster or block at line 21, so it's the same thing. Well, this is definitely a monster, so something's wrong in the C# code actually. Because we requested script. Oh no, because it's. So, well, no, that is correct. Script 0 requested object user data stat speed. That's the C# right here. Another thing I need to do is the stat name I need to convert to uppercase. So stat name equals stat name to upper variant. I call it like that here, but some people might not. I want everything to be case insensitive. Okay, compiling. So what does it give me? It's got a bunch of extra stuff in here, but sort player Lua color. New async script. Okay, maybe it's here, 134. Oh yeah, that is it, but we want to actually see where the exception originated from. Okay. So if owner object type does not equal user data, it could have been thrown from here or here. Yeah, definitely a big long call stack, and it doesn't even actually tell us where that. Yeah, see, there's some, I guess, weirdness or magic that comes out of trying to do exception handling with Lua. It get messes with the call stack, so I'm gonna just have another debug log here. Not user data. Actually, we know it was user data because, let's see, right here, yeah, we printed out that the object was a user data. It must just be, it's not a monster. So let's see. So not a monster. Let's try it again. Okay, yeah, so it is not a monster. And I actually should change that because now we don't have to do blocks anymore. Okay. Yeah, so I can get rid of that actually. This is what I wanted. So why is this? Oh, because I think... Oh no, this is an object. Oh, I think I did do this wrong. It should be user data object. Surprised that we didn't get an error there, but I guess I already casted it to an object. Let's see what happens now. Object reference not set to an instance, so something different now. Okay, I guess I don't create this list. Which is an easy fix. Should print out the return, or this value here with value 2, which is what we're going to feed back into the Lua script. I need to remember to stop the game before I go edit code, because otherwise Unity always is a little slow. Okay, so now something else. So script 0 yielded nil. Oh, so we actually got to the yield. So let's read through here. So we called script 0 with value user data. So requested speed for gold, and then we added that request, and then it's silver, which is this other monster. And then Lua yielding, which means we got to this part. And script 0 yielded nil. Oh, that's because we didn't give an argument right there. And then resuming script 0 with user data. And that's when things get a little messy. But that shouldn't have happened because... Oh, actually no, it should, because right now we don't have any unknown monster stats. I need to go out and change that somewhere. We can see that here if I look in the battle stats. See, they're all known for both monsters. So I should probably go and set it so that silver monster's stats are unknown, just for testing. Hey Storm, good to see you back. But let's just get this working. Alright, so what is the null? Access field of user data. Async response. At line 29. Okay. Maybe it's statistic. I bet that's it. We can make sure though. So async response, yeah, it's the statistic, not just stat. But I think that'll be nil actually, and so we'll get more problems. Yeah, so we need to fill that up. Which happens here. I guess, let's see. Okay, let's actually just see if the game will finish the coroutine. And we won't actually look at the stat value yet. Yeah, so let's just call coroutine yield. Oops, I don't need a semicolon in Lua. Print yield complete. Okay, and so we won't actually do anything with the return value yet, because right now the status is going to be null. Because I don't know how to store the stats yet, we haven't figured that out yet. Okay, so let's see what happens now. So yielding, yield complete, yielding again, and resuming, yield complete, and this is all in the same frame. Okay, and then it's done. So yeah, it should yield. Well, we requested twice, so it should yield twice. And it does. Okay, and here the script yielded table, which is the end. And that is when we return the order, which is an empty table right now, but. And then it says script 0 complete because the coroutine is dead, which basically means it's finished. And then this Lua call complete. Okay, and then we get somewhere else that we haven't implemented yet, which is basically here we need to send the turn order to the server. But yeah, this is down the road. Alright, so now, yeah, we got the coroutines working. So yeah, that's one big thing. And really, I just need to figure out how to store the statistics, and then we need to actually request them from the server. Okay, so let's see. Figure out how to store Lua interface stats in the Lua object registry, and then we need to actually test unknown stats, and then actually ask the server for unknown stats. See, right now we don't actually ask the server because I just want to test this. It just waits a second and then pretends that we asked the server, which we can't even do that right now because, as you see, the whole script finished in one frame, this frame 397. And that's just because all the stats were known. But at least we got through it. Another thing I noticed is for these other Lua calls, maybe not so much the usable, but definitely the get targets need to have asynchronous, and right now asynchronous support, and right now they just assume it finishes in one frame, so we're gonna have to go back and change these. So let's see, add async support, no, that was right, to ability usable and ability target option Lua calls. But I think I want to make sure we get it correct on the sorting first. Asana looks good. You're using GitHub project. Yeah, I've used both. They're both great. And then So A-star pathfinding is kind of down the road. Let's see. And then we actually need to convert player selections into lists of actions, which is another Lua script call. So basically, right now, all we do is send to the server that I selected this monster, I selected the move ability, and then this position. And we need a Lua script to convert that into a list of actions, which is really simple here. It's just this monster move there. But there are more difficult ones, like monster move and then attack, or change the statistic of the monster or something. So we'll do that soon. But I think, yeah, I'm out of time. So this is a pretty good stopping point since we actually got the game to run without any errors, so I'm proud of that. But thanks everybody for coming by and watching and chatting. I appreciate it. I'm glad we had a pretty active chat tonight, so that's always nice. I have a new Discord server. If you're interested, you can check the description in my Twitch channel, and also I'll upload this video to YouTube in the morning if you want to catch up on any previous streams. And then of course feel free to follow my channel to be notified when I go live tomorrow. Should be around 8:30 Eastern. And yeah, again, thanks everybody for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow, and have a great night. Alright, bye bye.